Alright, this is a simple tutorial on how to repair the controller port. I'll be using my Halo Edition Xbox, but all the Xboxes for this are the same, minus a few changes, but that does not affect the port. First off, take your Xbox, flip it upside down. You'll notice that there'll be two screws in the center of the console, one by both labels, and four more underneath, which is going to be the rubber pads, rubber stoppers. As you see in this video, you'll be using I believe it's a T20. It is the T20. Yep, the T20 screw driver, which is provided for you. Unscrew the 6 screws. Make sure you put them into a safe location. That way, we'll be needing them later in the video. For removing the corner screws under the rubber pads, it is best to peel up a small section of the pad, the pad closest to the edge of the console. Peel about a quarter of the way up, you'll reveal the screw. That way you won't have to re-glue the pads on back up. Once the screws are removed, you'll flip the console over so the Xbox logo is facing up. From there, you'll be able to pull the console cover case straight off. You may have to give it a little force, but you shouldn't have to give it too much. Now, because these consoles have modded LEDs in them, just set the top right by the end of the console. That way you won't have to disconnect any of the LED cords. From there, you'll take the 40-pin ribbon cable, carefully remove it from the base of the hard drive. Just leave it over to the side for now. You don't have to remove it from the actual console to fix this. Located also by the hard drive is a 4-pin power cord. If you need to, if it's tightly wedged in there, take the screwdriver and just slightly try to pry it out. Also, you'll just remove the power cord from the caddy, like I showed in this video. Just unwind it from its housing. Now you'll take your T10 Torx screwdriver, which is also provided, and remove the single screw that is holding the hard drive caddy in place. From there, just grab the base of the hard drive and pull up, and the hard drive caddy will pull right out. Moving on into this next part of the video, you'll just notice that the disk drive left, and the one I believe you mentioned is under the disk drive. Now, the disk drive is held in by 2 screws as pointed out here in this video. You'll remove the screws using the same T10 screwdriver. Now, I wouldn't remove the screws from the caddy, just unscrew them so that they're undone from the base, but leave them in the caddy like I have done here. It'll make it so much easier when it comes to screwing the disk drive caddy back in. Like we did with the hard drive, you'll have to remove the ribbon cable and the power cord for it. Just leave the cords connected to the main board, and then once you disconnect those cords, the caddy will slide right out. Now, with this console, it may look slightly different than yours, but all the ports, including the controller ports, are exactly the same. Now, you'll take a T10 screwdriver and unscrew the 2 screws holding in the controller ports as shown in this video. Please put the screws in a safe place because you'll be putting them right back in. Now, since these consoles do again have modded LEDs in the ports may be slightly stiff, but first remove the cords from the main board, and then you'll take your fingers and pull up on the controller ports. sometimes it is easier for these if you pull them up at a 45-degree angle and try to slide them right out. You may need to use a little force, but there should be no problem with damaging any issues because this is a pretty hefty piece. Once you remove this, you'll get ready to grab the new port and ready to slide it in. Once you grab a new port, like the one I have, you'll gently push it into place, at usually starting at a 45-degree angle, and then push it down until it aligns with the board, and both of the board little pop-up things, I don't know what they're called, push through the holes. Like, we plug the part into the matching jack, which is on the board, which will be located relatively close to the port. Take the 2 Torx screws using the T10 Torx screwdriver and screw the screws into place. Once the screws are into place, you're going to first grab the disk drive. Now, just one mental note, the disk drive will align on 4 holes, which will align to the base of the console. Now, given the fact that there are extra wires added to the console, you may have to, like I had to do in this video, move a couple of the cords just from where the caddy sticks into the console. Find the holes that they align to and push them down. Once the caddy in the disk drive is flush with the base of the console, you can go ahead and put the ribbon cable in and the matching power cord. Now, just mental note too, this can sometimes take a couple tries at. Usually I like to take one side and just slightly roll it into place. Sometimes it seems easier than others, but it shouldn't give you too many issues. Now, I forgot to do this in this video quickly, but the 2 screws that hold the disk drive caddy in place, make sure you screw those in. It's a lot easier to screw them in before screwing in the hard drive port. But then once you get that in, pick the hard drive port, same way as the disk drive caddy. You'll place the hard drive caddy into the remaining slots on the motherboard. Just like the disk drive caddy, it will line just in place. You may have to remove a couple extra cables that may be in its way. Once you do that, screw in the remaining screws that go with this caddy. It's just the one located pretty central on the console board. You'll be using a T10 screwdriver for this. Now finally, with the last thing before we screw on the cover, you're going to take first the power adapter cable for the hard drive, and you're going to realign it with the matching slots on the side, and then you'll push it into the power circuit on the hard drive. Once the power cable is in place, you'll do the same like you did before with the 40-pin ribbon IDE cable, and then you'll slide the cable into its holder. Once that, please just gently put the top back on the cover. Now, because of the LED, there will be a cord that may be blocking the one port, so make sure you move like I had to do in that bit right there, cable, and then the console top will slide down into the holes. You may have to give it a slight tap like here to get them to align. Once the cover is flush with the base, you'll flip the console over and begin screwing in the comp. Now, I always like to start with the 2 central screws and work my way around, but just make sure when you tighten them, not to tighten them super heavy, otherwise you may risk stripping the threads. Once you do that, your console should be good to go, and thank you.